Straight Talk Podcast. It's your boy fella on the car phone, aka.
Chill out. Chill out.
There's no aka today, but it's fella on the car phone. Next to me is Rev, bro. How you doing today, Rev?
Young Salacious. I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm good, man. I'm blessed and highly favored. Ooh, I was hitting it, boy.
Watch up, never mind. Man, go ahead, man.
I get it, man. Anyway, Straight Talk. We know how we get it down. It's gonna be question of the day, as usual. It's the segment where I ask the buddy to the left of me a question and grade him on his answer, and he can't get mad because the grades are completely subjective. I can give him whatever grade I want to give him. So, you know what I'm saying? So let's get started. Question of the day today is it's the, like you call it, the NBA Twitter Civil Wars going on. Starting here in a couple minutes, if we being honest. It should be starting pretty soon, by 9:30, something like that. Lakers and the Nets is a lot of people's picks for the NBA Finals this year. It's kind of like the two big teams on the East and the West. They probably have the highest probability, maybe not in the East for the Nets. We figuring it out over there.
Shoot, even the West though.
But even the West too. We got a couple teams that look like they might be doing something in the West over there. So we got the Lakers and the Nets happening soon. Hopefully we're gonna try to get this done because we want to watch the games ourselves.
Yeah.
Who you got tonight?
I'm going with the Nets. Well, here's what makes it hard, right? Nets, there is no KD. I think Kyrie is still playing though.
That's a good point.
So if you still got Kyrie,
What happened to KD? Is he hurt?
I feel like he capping.
No.
It's because he a hoe, for real. I thought he was going to pretend to be hurt and then play today. But now he's still ducking the fade. Like, they be on to me.
Something going on.
So, you know what I'm saying? But then the Lakers don't have AD. So unless Montrez or Schroeder really ball out or Kuzma shows up, he shows up about once every quarter of the season. So unless he shows up tonight, if you still got Kyrie and Harden, I feel like you got a good chance to win, especially when your biggest, issue is the paint and they're missing their best paint player.
Mm-hmm. So they still got some bigs down there. They still got Marc Gasol and, like you said, Trez.
Marc is 46. Trez is Trez. No, but
Trez really ain't that big though.
Yeah, he's really not that big. I'm gonna go Nets. I feel like I'm low key in my heart. I feel like I'm wrong, but I'm gonna just go Nets just for the sake of going Nets. It'll be fun for NBA Twitter though. Because they ain't shut up about this matchup ever since the trades happened. Also, they warming up right now. They warming up.
Started up.
Also, they got stupid stuff like a Bleacher Report had some sort of bet. Will Kyrie and LeBron dap up before the game? Like, y'all just bored. Y'all be feeding into this stuff way too much. And I saw them recirculating the quote about this the first time. I feel like I can look down. Yeah, he can take that shot. And then quoting LeBron being salty.
Overdid that quote.
Made it real big. So it'll be fun to finally just get this game out of the way. But like I said, missing some of your key players is really not going to be the game we want it to be. But it'll still be interesting to see.
Okay. I'm going to give you a A+ on your grade. Not because of your answer, but because you came with the facts. See, I didn't know who was sitting out today. You know what I'm saying? Came with you let me know. KD not playing today. Let me know AD not playing today.
Hey,
so I'm gonna give you an A+ on that, man.
Shout
out to you for filling me in a little bit because I wasn't hip to that. Like I knew KD sat out last game, but I didn't know if he was coming back. And I definitely didn't know AD was sitting out. What's going on with AD?
Achilles.
Oh yeah, his soreness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember seeing that. Okay, so it's not gonna be the full Civil War that we potentially will see in the finals. Hopefully. Because we don't want no injuries to go on or happen in the finals. So we will see. But that's going to knock it out the way for a question of the day. I'm going to pick the Lakers. No, I'm going to pick the Nets. I'm picking the Nets. Because, I'm picking the Nets.
Hurry shot.
We're going to move it on and talk about some trade rumors. So there was a big ordeal this most recent week. It's Cavaliers have put it forward, and Drummond they're trying to trade Drummond. They're
Uh-huh.
going forward with that. So,
Because they got their center of the future, Jared Allen, which, by the way, the Cavs won that trade, but I'm dying
I
on
just
that
realized I said Draymond.
yeah, it did say Draymond.
All I saw was the end because
But I tell you what,
right there.
this is how we gonna segue.
We can
though.
segue it easily though. But so it happened in Golden State, and just so happened they sat him on the bench because they're like, I'm finna trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Draymond comes back and is like, it basically demands that the organizations need to respect the players, or really media and the public needs to respect the players the same way the organizations get respect when it comes to trades and where a player wants to play, where he doesn't want to play.
Mm-hmm.
So I saw it. Did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, he touched on like Boogie whenever they had that All-Star game in New Orleans. What was this, like 2014, 15?
Mm-hmm.
They had the All-Star game in New Orleans. And then you find out after the game, you can come back to Sacramento to get your bags, but you're going to go ahead and stay in New Orleans. We traded you. Like, y'all going to trade me during the All-Star break, not even say nothing. Harrison Barnes got traded.
He got pulled off the bench
Halftime.
in the middle of the game.
Yeah, they pulled him, and then at halftime they were like, "Oh yeah, Harrison Barnes is going to Sacramento." Anthony Davis says he wants to trade. He didn't pull the Kawhi route where he was like, "I'm gonna sit." He was still gonna play, and they shut him down. So basically, this is how the organizations treat these players. But then when a James Harden or a Kawhi or a Kyrie say they want to trade, it's okay to slander them and get on their head about it. I don't know why I'm getting meme mugged right now.
I get Vivo too. It's okay.
But anyway, when the players say they want to leave, it's slander, slander, slander. You question their character, their loyalty, what type of man they are. You're getting paid to do this. That's not fair. But when the organization decides to do it, it's like, hey, well.
So what are your thoughts on it? What do you think about that? Like, me personally, I feel like he's 100% right. Like,
Absolutely.
I'll point the mirror on myself. Like, I often sometimes over magnify the situation and like kind of try to blame him, blame the player. And then on other instances I don't give as much energy to what organizations do. Because they treat it more like a business than players treat it like a business. But when players treat it like a business, there's a big issue.
Right.
So I fall into that as well. So he's 100% correct. It's just difficult to, I don't know, it's difficult to fight what the media says. Because that's really like your only story. And a lot of times, especially until very recently with, the development of social media, Player Tribune, stuff like that. So very recently, it was very difficult to get a player's side of the story.
Yeah.
Other than even when they would do like one of those exclusive interviews, you still can't really get the story the way it actually happened. So it's difficult to combat the media and what you hear from the media.
Some things are situational, I feel, though. Like James Harden, for instance. Is anybody really mad that you want to trade? Not necessarily. But also, this franchise has continuously pandered to you, to your style of play, getting the players that you were asking for, allegedly, doing everything to suit you up to have MVP caliber seasons year after year, lead this team into the playoffs with 50-something wins every year. We do everything built around your game, and you just decided, you know what, I'm sick of it. Like, I get why people were mad in that case.
Yeah.
But also, I get why you ready to move on. I've been here for 8-9 years,
But even Jeremiah said he dogged it, and he probably didn't. I think that most people agree he didn't necessarily handle the situation.
Yeah, he didn't handle it right at all.
But to a certain extent, you also kind of understand because it's like, okay, if he doesn't do that actually trade him? Like, if he just goes to the office and do it the right way,
they would have.
And I think he did at a certain point. At the certain point of the situation, he did do that, and they still wasn't making it work. But all of a sudden, now when he's acting a quote-unquote asshole,
he started dogging it.
It happened within that week.
He started dogging it, and then he tried to clean it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, no, I'm standing on that. I really don't want to be here. And then started dogging it again.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at like I said, they set him up really for success. Some of those shortcomings are on you as the player and you as the athletes, right? Whereas like with Anthony Davis, y'all got me in New Orleans. I'm staying. Y'all not building around me. Also, with New Orleans being a small market, it's hard to really pull people in. We had DeMarcus. Y'all didn't want to give him money because you were afraid of that energy. or not energy, that injury. So you didn't want to keep probably the best thing we could have had going and build off of me and DeMarcus being here. You're not pulling anybody else in. You drafting a whole bunch of like bozos. Like, I'm not gonna win here. Yeah. I want out.
Right.
Like, that's fair. You're not building around this person. Why should they waste all of their prime years on a small market team that nobody wants to join, that you can continuously get knocked out of the playoffs or not even make it? So I just think in some situations you just got to be more fair to the player. Like, why are you mad at them for wanting to not lose every year?
Yeah.
Who wants to always lose? If you played any sort of sport, it's not fun.
And also,
getting your ass whooped every year.
Yeah.
Every game.
But I think, it is situational, but in all situations, I think media has to be better and public has to be better
for sure.
Of respecting. Like, and his base point is respecting the players to the same level that we respect the organization.
He was mostly talking about
get rid of that whole kind of. It's not. It's hard. Like, in this situation, it's like that slave mentality. Like, I don't want to say that in this situation. Yeah. But it's kind of like that aura of just like the owners, the organizations, and then you got the players. Players supposed to do what the organizations say. Like, it's not that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that.
There should be some give and take there. And like I said, he was mostly talking about trades, but he even brought up Kyrie. Like, this man is struggling with something related to his mental health.
Yeah.
There's nonstop articles about what's wrong with him. What is he really out here doing? Stephen A. saying he should retire. Like, y'all not giving him no respect or privacy. You just chastising him nonstop. Whereas the organization, Brooklyn, you're worried about, well, will they be fine? Do they know what's going on? Are they going to be okay? How is Brooklyn going to handle this? Why don't y'all just let that man do what he doing? Right. You know? And, like, making jokes is one thing, but, like, say what you want about Kyrie. They chastise the hell out of that man over every little thing.
Yeah.
And, like, you got to start giving these players their respect. And then when the players do the right thing, you mad at them. So Blake signed that super extension when he had his free agency with the Clippers. You would have been mad at him if he left. He would have been a traitor, disloyal, we're going to burn his jersey, all of that. He signs an extension a couple months into the season. They trade him to Detroit. Shithole of the NBA. Where was the loyalty and respect there from the Clippers organization? Right. You know what I'm saying? So you got to stop doing that, you know.
Blake Griffin trash, though, so.
Anyway, segueing into Blake Griffin actually is about to get out of Detroit. We're just going to leave that all alone and move on.
Still got to respect them and give them the proper respect.
Respect the players the same way you respect the organizations. The same way you want to always refer to, well, the contract says, okay, we'll respect the players as that as well. You know what? Let me go ahead and follow my boy Jaden back on Twitter. I see that right there. Shout out to my boy. Anyway, you just gonna unfollow him because he got the LeBron picture. Come on,
do better, Jaden, if you watch this.
Anyway, moving on, talking about Blake Griffin, though, apparently the Pistons are gonna go ahead and get rid of him too, whether it be through trade or a buyout. And the same thing.
You need to.
And the same thing is happening with Drummond.
Be wasting his.
I figured it was gonna happen.
I did put do not disturb on, by the way.
I'm just wondering how that's going to translate to the actual...
It went black.
It went black. It should come back up, though. Or do I got to cancel out? Is it come back up?
I don't know. We didn't do anything yet. Sit down. You finna touch it, and I don't know what happened. It's back up.
Okay. So, Billy, you should have been watching this to know that you shouldn't be calling Josh.
Right.
That's another story. You know where we at every Thursday night. I don't know why you did it. Anywho, yeah, you kind of figured that Blake Griffin, they were going to try to move on from him. They got rid of Drummond last year. There was rumors from last year's trade deadline up until the start of this season, up until he finally got moved, that they were trying to move D-Rose too. So you knew it was eventually coming.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know from you, and we talked about this actually during the offseason, where do you think currently... What did you put up no one for?
That's what she was frowning. She was mean mugging.
Anyway, we'll figure that out later. Where do you currently think Blake Griffin could go? Even though he's washed, he's trash, he's all of that. Even as a bench player, where do you think he could make a bit of an impact or help a squad out?
Potentially, like these teams, maybe like we see, it's going to be talked about a little bit later in the show, but we seen what Danny Ainge said. Potentially a Boston or a Dallas. There's some teams that are struggling right now.
If you're Dallas, you want Drummond.
Or Miami.
If you're Dallas, you want Drummond bad.
Yeah, Dallas. No, well, yeah. They can
Because
use
KP,
it.
they don't really want him at the 5.
Right. Yeah, you can do it. Like I said, Dallas might want Drummond, but like Miami is struggling. They're below 500. Boston is sitting at 500. Dallas could potentially. We talking about Blake Griffin. Dallas could potentially. There's teams that should be better right now, and I think he could go to one of those teams and be productive. Like he should go to a playoff team. He shouldn't be on Detroit. Like that's a complete waste. I don't know why he went there first.
He got traded.
Did he get traded? Oh, he did.
He signed a 5-year max.
But he signed that with Detroit.
With the Clippers.
Oh.
And then a couple months into the season, they say, hey.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you what, good buddy.
That shit's
you going to
Detroit. That's some hater stuff right there. So, yeah, I think those three, the teams that are, like, we all perceive as playoff teams, but we're looking at the standings now, those are going to be one of the teams that make the offer for both Drummond and Blake Griffin. So, I think that makes the most sense. But we'll see.
I would say, first of all, give me some of that. Because Miami and Boston are on my short list for Blake Griffin. I think it just makes sense. Like Miami, you could use a little size right now. I know Myers Leonard is hurt. Not that he's a huge guy for them, but he's a decent spark. No one at all. So they could use Blake Griffin for sure. I think also Boston is having some issues. It wouldn't hurt to have Blake, even if he's coming off the bench for y'all, just to have something. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball. You probably saw this one coming. You said he shouldn't be on a bad team, but at this point, what would it hurt? Go to Washington. Maybe a big 3 is what Washington needs to turn this season around. But look, in Washington's defense, they don't have anybody of any size. Aside from Bertans or whatever his name is, and half the time he's
a shooter.
Straight dog water. He sucks. The other night he had 30 though. Last night he had 30-something.
Yes.
But in general, he's dog water. So maybe a little bit of size and somebody else that can, actually score the ball.
You know what song played in my head?
What?
Shout out to Frozen. Let it go. Let it go.
I think they had a really rough start.
Wizards ain't
they're still gonna get in the playoffs. It's gonna happen. They're gonna sneak their way in on the bottom side. Pause on the back end of the season.
Very salacious of you.
That was kind of salacious. They're still gonna slide in there. Oh God! And
keep going.
The Washington Wizards will find themselves in the playoffs somehow towards the end of this season. Blake Griffin could help there. You have another capable scorer, another vet. Because essentially all Washington has is 2 really good players and a bunch of scrubs that can't score the ball. So Bradley Beal has to average 40. Russ has to get 13, 14 assists a game to get these guys 3 or 4 points apiece, plus Bradley's 40 for them to win. If you get Blake, that's another 12 to 20 points maybe on a nightly basis. That could help them get pushed a little further. Knowing him, he'll probably say no if it's a buyout situation. If you're the Wizards, trade whoever you got because you don't have anybody that's worthwhile anyway, so get him out of there. But yeah, I agree. Mostly Miami and Boston, I think, really could use him. Out west, I think everybody is pretty good, but the Mavs, it wouldn't hurt. Or
I can see maybe a reunion. I was gonna say reunion in Phoenix. But I think they're good.
Who? Oh, with Chris Paul?
They're good though in Phoenix.
Allegedly, they butt heads. They was trying to meet in the tunnel in the locker room.
Time heals all wounds.
Yeah, right. If that was the case, Russ would be in Brooklyn with Andre Roberson and KD and Jeff Green and the rest of his Thunder teammates.
Speaking of which, you happy to see Roberson back?
Yeah, man.
I think it's a pretty smart pick.
It would have been nice if he could have came back a little faster the year we had Melo when we had the best defense in the league. But that's another story.
Don't get me wrong. He's awful.
No. When he came back, he played a couple games in the bubble, and he was actually hitting his 3. So he's clearly been working on his shot. He's a good defensive player. He's a nice pickup.
It's a nice pickup for them.
Where's Avery
just because
Bradley
they don't have
days?
anybody. Avery Bradley?
Miami.
You know Miami?
Yeah, he's on Miami. So never mind, disregard. I was just thinking of things. Yeah, but no, I think Roberson is a great pickup for the Brooklyn Nets. He's not a big. That's what they really need. But he's somebody
They
that
need
will
pieces.
play.
They just need bodies.
Yeah, they need some bodies, and he's somebody that will play some pretty good defense. He's a great on and off ball defender, so that's a good pickup for them. So moving from Blake, let's focus on Drummond. I personally feel like if you're the Mavs, Drummond's situation is probably going to be a buyout. If you're Cleveland, what do you really need to trade for? They have enough pieces to kind of build through the next couple of years. You
They
don't
got
really
Jared
need to
Allen,
trade.
so yeah.
So it's not like you really are expecting, I think, a whole lot in return. You've got the bodies. You got a pretty solid roster. Unless you're going to try to throw Kevin Love in a package somewhere. Because you're not going to buy out both of them. So unless you're going to bundle them somehow just to get them both out, I think it's a buyout. If it's a buyout, I think the Mavs should be calling. But, Brooklyn is the one that probably really want them.
Yeah, I think Brooklyn needs to do whatever they got to do to get him.
Brooklyn can't trade nobody, so you're praying it's a buyout if you're Brooklyn.
Yeah.
We don't have anything to give you.
I mean, you can get. It would be fair to get draft picks for Andre Drummond.
What draft picks?
I don't know if
they lost all their draft picks.
They lost a lot
Paul
of their draft
Pierce,
picks.
KG.
Yeah.
Going back then, they don't have no more draft picks.
Yeah.
Then they got Kyrie. No, that was a free agent signing. My fault. Who else did they trade for? They traded for James Harden.
Traded for James Harden.
So they lost some more draft picks there. They don't have no draft picks probably until 2029. They probably are fresh out because Boston cleared them out 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're praying for a buyout. That's the only way we can get Andre Drummond. And then he'll probably sign a cheap deal because I'm still going to get my money from Cleveland. This is definitely a winning scenario for me.
If he
feeling
gets a
the
buyout,
biggest
they got to
hole
do
that y'all
whatever they
need.
got to do. Pay him whatever you got to pay him to get him on the team.
You better be the first person on that phone. And I find it hard to believe, if it's a buyout situation, I find it hard to believe he doesn't pick you.
Right.
You're a guaranteed probably trip for me to the finals.
Yeah.
The only thing y'all are really missing is a center.
That's me.
I'm a walking 20-13. So it doesn't get much better than that. And I got James Harden and Kyrie throwing lobs all day. I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah. He gonna get his off the boards.
I mean, even off the boards
Period.
for sure, but you got plenty of great pick and roll players out there too that's gonna set you up. I say I know the Raptors want them. I'm sure they do, but the Raptors, I don't know what you could trade for them. Really, I think
Chris Boucher looking good too though.
I think the best case scenario
Chris
for
Boucher is
any
looking
team
really good.
for any team has got to be a buyout. Because I don't think a lot of teams really have the pieces to make it work.
That's the other thing. They gonna have to do a buyout.
And then what is Cleveland really gonna be willing to like? Is Cleveland gonna be petty with it, or are they gonna try to be like?
No, it's coming. It's coming though, because like I said, they announced it. They benched him, and that was what, last week.
Yeah.
That was probably
Earlier this week.
That was earlier this week. If they was gonna make a trade, the trade probably would have been made already.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, okay, we're not getting no offers.
We got a couple more weeks, I think. Trade deadline coming up right before.
No, I know they got time, but
So-
they announced it. They're not gonna sit him for weeks on end where he's not playing. Does he come back?
How long did AD sit before the trade went through?
I don't know.
They sat for a minute, I think.
That's messed
AD
up.
sat
They
for a
sit him
minute.
for a long time. That's like, just buy out his contract. But
You
AD
ain't-
also signed. He also has a big contract that they needed to buy out. I think
So
typically you only
they
do
wouldn't
the buyouts when it's like the last year of the contract.
Not necessarily.
It's
Not
more cost.
necessarily.
It makes the most sense cost wise.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm sure he'll sit there until, because if I'm Cleveland, right, it's not like we really need much in return, so I don't have to play hardball with this trade. But also, I'm not caving to certain teams. Like if I'm Cleveland, I'm not giving the Brooklyn Nets anything. I'm gonna make y'all figure something out, or wait for the last. Like I want my last option to be buying Drummond out, because I know if I do buy him out, y'all are only gonna get better. And not that Cleveland is really in a position to benefit at all from the Brooklyn Nets not getting better. You still don't want to help your competitors.
Yeah.
Ideally, you ship him out west.
Yeah, but if they don't get no offers, they gonna do something.
You're just gonna have to do what you got to do. Yeah. I think really in the East, Boston, Toronto, the Nets. I think all three of those teams really stand to one.
And then again, with both these players, the teams that aren't performing the way they should be performing, even though I think a lot of that has to do with COVID, the whole COVID situation, because that's kind of like the what's the word? That is the story of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Is just like there's a lot of inconsistency throughout the entire NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the good teams that are supposed to be good are just not playing well. And even the teams like Miami that have a lot of issues with COVID, they're doing the worst out of all the teams that are being inconsistent. So
Yeah.
I think that's the story. So I think it's those teams that are going to be the main ones to, they got to better themselves and go out and get one of these players.
Yeah, I think I think really it's a lot of teams in the East that can stand to benefit from these options. I don't think really out West there's too many teams that need it.
The West has got that little between 7 seed and 11 seed. It's really goes all the way up to 4 seed. 4 seed all the way down to 11. It's a toss up. But all those teams are pretty good. In the East, it's a lot of bad teams, or it's a lot of teams with bad records that should be better.
Exactly.
So it's like those teams, they should be good, but it's like you understand that you got to make a big or a decent jump in the standings to get what you want in the standings, in the playoff race.
Yeah.
But to move on, we also wanted to talk about Danny Ainge. I felt or said something I felt like was kind of interesting. He was talking about his team that the Celtics are 14-14. They're sitting at 500, and he said that he feels like it's his fault that the team is not good enough, because of how he built the team.
Yeah.
And personally, I feel like it's kind of a slight to the players, in my opinion. Because honestly, I think if you look at that team on paper, they should be good enough to win a championship. They got 2 All-Stars on the team, and Kemba Walker, who was a former All-Star.
Kemba Walker ain't been playing like it though.
He hasn't been playing like it, but he should. He should be. This is what I'm saying. His All-Star caliber should be All-Star caliber.
You know what I think is?
They got a lot. They put a lot into this roster, and for them to be 501 again, maybe it's got a little to do with COVID and inconsistent, playing time, dealing with that. But they should be better across the board.
Danny, if you really want to fix it, you swing for the fences and go get Drummond. If you want to fix it, because I think one of their biggest issues is the 5 spot. Not that Drummond is this amazing defender, but he definitely helps you on offense. He definitely helps you on the glass. He definitely has more to offer than
Who's a better
Daniel
defender?
Tice.
Tice. Well, they got Tice, and they got Tristan Thompson.
Who? I'll take Drummond. Thank you. Where's Taco?
I agree.
Well, Taco, even if they do play him, they give him very random minutes.
Taco not ready still.
Yeah, so I think if you really want to fix it, you go get Drummond or you go get Blake. You make one of those work. But I also think he's 100% right. It is his fault to me to a degree, because I think we always put emphasis on the players, and only in certain situations do we put emphasis on personnel. So when we look at OKC, did they have some talent? Sure. But in general, top to bottom, the personnel wasn't there. Y'all should have got better players around some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think they.
So we're like, the players are good, but y'all should have done more to get stuff around them, right? Whereas with Boston, I think we want to say, well, the players could have done more. Okay, to a degree, yeah. Should they have been put in a pack by Miami last year? Maybe not. But I think for years now, I think we've been neglecting to just put our finger on a specific issue. We kept thinking, when they went up against LeBron, his last year in Cleveland, they're still too young, right? They're just not ready. Okay, then the next year, there's another excuse. Then the next year, no, at some point you have to understand, it's not necessarily these players, there's something missing there. These players clearly have the talent. They're just missing something. And I don't really know. I think that 5 spot definitely needs to change.
Yeah.
Kemba Walker sounded like a great addition. He just hasn't really found his rhythm yet with them this year.
I think he was okay last.
Well, that's what I said this year. Last year he wasn't that bad, but this season he just hasn't really found his rhythm, I guess, with them. But you got to fix something about this Boston team. I mean, they're talented as hell. You got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown doing amazing things. I think you also kind of look at, you maybe dropped the ball a little bit with Gordon Hayward. I don't think you really were committed to making that work. I think after his original injury, and then you got rid of Kyrie, who you brought in with him, you saw Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown getting better, and you were like, oh, well, whatever. Instead of being committed to saying, we have 3 6'8", 6'9" guys that can all interchangeably score 20, 30 points at a given time. Let's figure out a way to work this out. you were willing to just let him walk. And he's had plenty of amazing games with Charlotte. So you've made some screw ups.
I think it was too many. It was too much with Gordon Hayward there because now we see Jaylen Brown averaging 27 points.
I don't think y'all did the right things to like make it work. There's never anything.
Ball, there's only one ball. It's always ever gonna be one ball.
One ball, right? Kyrie, KD, Harden, Clay, KD, Dre, Steph, Russ, Harden, KD. One ball. You can make it work if you do the right things rotationally and then put the right players around them. But if you're not committed to making it work with this guy, because there's only one ball, the two of you are really budding and you're only like 23, 24. Screw it, Gordon Hayward, I'll let you
I will say
you could have made that work.
The issue is they were still trying to give it to Gordon Hayward. At that point, I think we can see now, and even last year, Jaylen Brown is the better player.
I think you just had to figure out ways to work it. Like,
but it was because they were trying to make Gordon Hayward the number 2 guy. Right. As far as who's going to get the bucket after Tatum. Everybody know Tatum number 1.
Yeah.
They were jostling and fighting over who's the number 2. I think obviously clearly, we see this season, obviously, it's either Kemba, but no, really this season it's Jaylen Brown.
I think you clearly see that Gordon Hayward, though, he's a rhythm player, right? Like, you don't have to force everything with him. He'll get a couple shots and he'll get going.
Yeah.
So you don't have to force him to be number 2, and that's what I feel like they didn't make that adjustment. You're trying to force him to be number 2.
Right.
Or you let everybody else play and have him sitting in the corner. Y'all have enough talent that y'all could have figured out a way to rotate this to only 2 of these players are in at a time.
Yeah.
And they taking turns
trading off. They could have done
got
better.
All 4 of them in at certain points, but now we trading them off 2 and 2 or 3 and you know what I'm saying? You could have found ways to move it around. But you gave up on the Gordon Hayward project, knowing that he's still a walking 20 points and one of the highest paid players in the last 10 years. And who knows how sometimes, but then you watch him play and you're like, okay, well, I kind of get it. You're just not used to seeing it often. But I think he's made some bad personnel decisions.
Speaking of Gordon, he dealt with injuries, though, too.
Well, and the man, like, his ankle
and he
busted open.
Yeah, he never was able to. In Boston, I don't think he was able to be 100% comfortable. Because even after that, he had, like, last season, he was dealing with other injuries. Like
he got an injury right like in the start of the bubble playoffs.
He was never able to get 100% comfortable with the team for one, and then just like.
And I think some things just rhythm like certain. Yeah. There was a stat of like how many games they win if he scores this amount of points, and I think if you let him lead that bench unit or set him up in the right ways, cool, it works. Yeah. But if you try to force like he's gonna get every shot. He's not that type of player. Like I don't need that for me to get 20 or 30.
I agree. Danny Ainge, you can definitely blame him because he's got some signings. Signed Kyrie, that didn't work. Signed Gordon Hayward, that didn't work. Now we signing Kemba Walker, and it worked last year, but now it's looking kind of iffy this year. But we'll see again with Kemba Walker. He's been dealing with injuries, so I agree that you can blame Danny Ainge, but I also feel like it was kind of slighting the players because if you look at that roster. For me, I feel like they should be.
But I wouldn't take it as a slight.
I would be insulted, but like, okay, we got our guys. Like, I think we're a championship team. But even though they can look at their record and be like,
he could have thought that was a little fire under their ass, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think it was.
Maybe it's my fault. You guys, maybe this is on me that we haven't.
That's when I perceived it. When I read it, I was like, he's just trying to rile them up because it is. I would take that as an insult.
If you really want to rile them up and get them a championship, take them a soft ass St. Louis kid. Work for Coach K.
That's big facts.
Work for Coach K.
But anyway, we're gonna talk about. First, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We'll be back on the other side. Pay some bills. It's nice to be back. We appreciate our sponsor, Taylor Gents. I was thinking my bad. Taylor Gents, we appreciate you, Daryl. Giving us this, wonderful studio. But yeah, make sure if you need some custom clothing, suits, all that good stuff. Shout out to my cousin. Reach out to my cousin, Daryl, with Taylor Gents. Get you a custom suit. But moving on to our next topic, we have to talk about the best team in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
It is not the Los Angeles Lakers, not the Brooklyn Nets,
Not the Los Angeles Clippers.
not the Clippers. It is the Utah Jazz, and they have won. You noticed that? What is they have won of their last 19 games?
18 or 19 of their last 20. 19 of their last 20.
They won 19 of their last 20 games.
Who's that?
She picked Utah, I think, to make the.
Can I just say something?
Go ahead.
Can I just say I told y'all so?
No, you didn't.
Can I just say that?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
Should I pull up the receipts?
No, go ahead.
Okay. I'll pull up the receipts.
So while she works on that, Utah.
Are they the real deal though?
No. Utah is giving me. Hold on, let me pull him up on Twitter because
Who
he
just
actually
said that?
said this.
He just said it. It was that. That's
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what his actual name is.
Can I go ahead and read off my receipts?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Or no?
No. What you got?
Should I? Is it
No,
my turn?
what you got?
What is this? January 7th, 9:07.
Oh, it's Valden.
Yeah.
9:07 p.m.
Hmm.
Hey guys, what are your hot takes for the top 1 through 8 seeds
Mm-hmm.
in both conferences?
Mm-hmm.
And you all had a nice conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow. But the Jazz ain't gonna do shit. And you moved
They
on.
ultimately won't.
And you guys moved on.
We didn't put them in the playoffs though.
We did.
No, I did.
Neither of you. And I
No,
have
because
it
I
written
remember we
down.
finished and we both were like, we probably should have put Utah in the playoffs.
But then I was like, oh, they go make they not.
What I will say, I'll give you credit for saying this. Right? We didn't give them enough credit. However,
didn't.
I ultimately will die on the hill that they will not do shit. This team, just like at VCAM 2016,
That's
you said
Valden.
Valden.
Shout out Valden.
He said that they're giving him 2015 Atlanta Hawks vibes. And I stand right there with him on that. I think they're going to do good right now. Oh, wow, they're shocking. They're really impressing everybody. But ultimately, you ain't about shit. Because if they were about shit, would you have lost to that Nuggets team last year when you was up 3-1?
It's different.
3-1.
But it's not. I won't say.
And I'm not gonna say that
2015
all of a
Alex
sudden-
Hawks vibes simply because they
Alex
do
Hawks.
have Atlanta Hawks. Simply because they have Donovan Mitchell. There was no player to the caliber of Donovan Mitchell on.
Al Horford.
Yeah. All right. Laugh that off because I was going to be very upset with you. Very upset with you.
Jeff Teague was clearly the same type of player that Donovan Mitchell
Hell
is, though.
no. Hell no.
That
Donovan
man was an
Mitchell.
all-star.
They didn't have anybody like Donovan Mitchell on that team.
You gonna tell me Jeff Teague wasn't on the same level as Donovan Mitchell in 2015?
No.
Bro, he was doing the same.
I'm getting ready to put the block on your head. Anyways,
No.
going back
Good
to
point.
it though, since I get a chance to speak, would you like to change your seed? Should I read off what you said first of all, because you definitely did not give them enough credit at all?
No.
Do you want to know what you even said to begin with?
No. I tell you what.
Because I can call it out.
No. I tell you what.
I can let all of
No,
Twitter
no,
know,
no,
Facebook, YouTube.
What you can do? You hold on to that, and we'll reconsider it over the next week. And when we reconvene next Thursday, maybe we'll
Maybe you'll change your
readjust.
mind?
As we've already gone back and gone over some of our preseason things and said, you know what, we were wrong. So
Wow.
You
we'll
gotta
go
do that.
back.
You gotta read it back.
We'll go back.
This West? Wow.
We'll go back.
Steven, they do it all the time. He say one thing one week, next week is completely
He'll
different.
change
the
it.
fact that you ousting us, they didn't have to know that.
He'll say one thing one day, and then Wednesday morning be like, y'all, I was
I
wrong.
can do the same thing people do to him. I can put the little baby foot on y'all, and it'll be like, y'all never said it.
I didn't say that. That was baby. That was
Wow.
baby Red. That was baby fella.
Got it.
We didn't say
Got
that.
That was the old us.
So, I don't know this man.
New
But,
year, new us.
Yeah, so the Utah Jazz, while they are impressive, they're looking really good. Donovan Mitchell, I love it because he's on my fantasy team. Keep doing you.
They got
young
that
man.
ball movement down there.
Man, the ball movement is amazing. And, for that reason, I also agree with that 2015 Atlanta Hawks comparison. They was
don't have
moving
a
the ball
Donovan
crazy.
Mitchell, though, bro.
They don't have
nobody
they don't
on the
have
team that
star
can give
power.
him. Donovan Mitchell give you 40 on any given night.
He can. So, but what I will say, the way that they move the ball and the way that they're streaking right now is very reminiscent of that 2015. Because the only other team in recent years that you can maybe compare it to is the 73-9 Warriors, and they definitely don't look that damn good.
No.
So they're somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
Of the 73-9 Warriors and the 2015.
I would say
Hawks.
lean a little slightly, just because Donovan Mitchell's a key factor, X factor.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I would lean more closer almost to that 73.
For sure. If the needle is right here, they're a little bit closer to this.
I would say that.
And you do have Gobert, who on most nights is a walking 7-7, but every now and then he actually steps up to the plate.
Double every now and then. Wait, $200 million.
Bogdanovich, I gave up on him early this year because I drafted him. He wasn't doing nothing, but he's actually had
Bogdanovich been good.
When I first got him this year, this season,
I'm sure, but
he was.
You didn't let him go, did you?
I did.
Oh my god,
he's still available. I can pick him back up.
Pick him up.
I can pick him back up.
He'll walk a double too.
You know the way fantasy league is. Any given week, people drop somebody, and you just say, "I'll take
pick
that."
him up. You need to pick him back up.
But yeah, so they actually are looking a little better than I expected. And
they're looking way better than I expected.
And they're beating these teams. It's not like they're sliding out of these. Like, they're beating these teams by 10 points or more.
Yeah, they
are actually really smacking.
But they're not the real deal. And I say they're not the real deal because I just had the point and I just lost it. Just that quick.
Missed it by that much.
Yeah, I just don't think they once they get to the playoffs. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I think it's a lot going back. I just said this point already. Going back to a lot of inconsistencies throughout the league. And I don't know this for a fact. Like, I didn't look at the schedule, but I think they're also catching some teams at the right time.
Yeah.
To be going on a streak like this. You catching, because I don't think.
The Clippers, you didn't have to worry about Kawhi or PG last night.
Have they played the Lakers in this streak? They did play the Lakers,
yeah.
I think. They beat the Lakers. But I think so they're beating the top teams, and they do have a good record against the top teams. But I think when it comes down to playoffs, and now everybody's got their full form, they in the
full swing of
stage, final stage. What the hell? I'm trying to think of the Dragon Ball Z reference. Their final form.
Final form. Yeah. So that's how these teams feel. Like,
yeah. Once you get in the playoffs,
final form.
You seeing these teams in their final. It was Cell too.
Cell was the perfect form.
Perfect form. That's what I was looking for. Yeah.
Frieza was final.
Final form. Okay.
You fool.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like once they get to these players, they're not good enough. Once they get not the lower teams, like not even like the Warriors. I don't see the Warriors being able to beat them maybe in the playoffs. I would love to see it, but I can see them.
If they do, yikes.
Right. But once they get to the top teams that they're up there with, Clippers, Lakers, I don't think they'll be, or even like a Denver team who they proved us something last year. Or the Blazers.
I'll give them Milwaukee Bucks. Y'all can walk with this. Y'all can walk with this best record in the league.
Yeah.
Y'all might even end up clinching this number one seed.
But
when it comes down to it, when you see
the playoffs, they got a better team, I think.
Though. No, they have a better team. Around. But in the end,
they got more pieces.
You're gonna have the better record.
They don't have just Giannis.
And you're gonna get to the playoffs. And somebody gonna dead it up.
Gonna hit that brick wall.
They gonna dead it ass up.
Yeah.
And send you right back on home.
So we'll see. But neither one of us think they're the real deal. I'd be surprised, honestly, if they make it to the conference finals.
Imagine if Utah made the finals. You know who would be really happy?
Cam.
Because he called it. Cam called what did he say? 2022.
Yeah, a year off.
Yeah. So Cam.
Man,
he said that
shout
like 5
Cam,
or 6 years ago.
He said that. No, he said about 2013.
It's been a minute.
It's been about 7 years since he actually said
Utah 2022.
Yeah.
So
shout out Cam. We gonna
that's
see you.
That's crazy, right?
We gonna give you your respect, give you your flowers, because you called that for sure. But moving on, we got the last topic before Petty Betty. We wanted to talk about the All-Star game. Well, for one, they announced the lineup today. Mm-hmm. But our producer pointed out to us and kind of had an interesting question. And I think it is a very intriguing question. So they announced. So last year it was just after Kobe passed away, and they did a lot of tributes to Kobe implemented into the game. All the players wear the number 2 and 24. Mm-hmm. What were the other ones? The Elam finished. There was the last 24 points. Scored 24 points in the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. First to score 24 points in the first quarter. So her question was, they did that last year, and it was because he had just passed away before the All-Star game. Is that something they should implement for the entirety of? Because they announced they're going to do the captains this year and the Elam finish again.
Oh, what it was, whoever had the lead going into the fourth quarter, you add 24 points onto that.
And
that would be the final score. Whoever hit that mark.
Right.
Should they just do that indefinitely?
Should they do that for the entirety or forever, basically, for the All-Star game?
I think it wouldn't hurt. I think we all saw how well it played out last year. It was really fun to watch. My only issue with that is the fact that it couldn't end the way it did, which was free throws. So while I do like that as the form of tribute, I hated that game was like Anthony Davis has to make these free throws, and you knew he was gonna make it. So it kind of
the first one though.
Just but you knew like it's Anthony Davis. He's never been a bad free throw shooter.
I think it brings suspense though. I didn't mind it ending on a free throw.
I just hate that it has to end on a free throw as opposed to.
It don't have to end on a free throw.
Well, I mean that it has the ability to.
Yeah.
I mean, even in a regular game, could it end on a free throw? Like when Giannis fouled Jimmy Butler when there was 0 time on the clock, yes. It could happen.
Yeah.
But you hate to see a game be determined by a free throw.
That's fair.
However, I do like that format.
But no, they're doing the Elon finish regardless, though.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like,
that.
Yeah, I'm just saying I hate that's like
okay. That's why you don't like the Elon finish.
While I do love the suspense it adds and like the excitement of like we got to grind it out because that 24 points can be, you know what I'm saying? I just hate that there's that possibility. I don't think it would hurt to just keep that as a mainstay, though. I don't think anybody would ever debate that. I think we all enjoyed it. The fans enjoyed it. The players enjoyed it. I'm sure that was a really liked concept, especially because there have been a lot of complaining about the All-Star Game, especially over the last 5 or 6 years that I can remember, like people complaining about, oh, there's no stakes, or oh, they're just out there like playing backyard basketball. So it kind of added some more stakes to it, gave players a reason to buckle down and really grind out this win. And also with what Kobe meant to the NBA as a fraternity, as a company, as a fan base worldwide, I don't think anybody would be opposed to that being a permanent staple of the All-Star Game. And Kobe's one of those people that was like almost synonymous with the All-Star Game. Has a couple All-Star Game records. I mean, I don't think anybody would be against it.
The most All-Star Game MVPs, I believe.
Yeah, I think he's up there. I think also steals or something, he's up there too.
I will say
he was the only one person out there still on defense going crazy.
Right.
So I don't think anybody would be against it. I would be for it. I think that's actually perfectly fine.
I will say when she asked the question, I did kind of have ask a dumb question and retaliate in answering it, but I didn't say it out loud. I said it to myself. But
I wish you did that more often.
I was thinking like I don't think it would be a good idea because like what you gonna do to do all that? What you gonna do once the next person passes?
What do you mean by that? So if it's Shaq, you gonna
that's what I'm saying. So like
eliminate free throws from
say if Shaq. All right, I don't even want to say.
I understand what you're
saying.
saying.
Say if anybody passed away, like how are they going to commemorate them? But that's a dumb question because it's like you have awards named after certain people who passed away. So
they could even do something like just name it the Kobe Bryant All-Star Game.
I think they did that already though. I think they already they said that last year. I think so. I don't think I'm making that up.
But yeah. I mean, I think
that was the first question that I had. But like I said, you got awards named after people who passed away.
In between awards, jerseys, court things, there's a billion and one things they could do to.
And it's also not to say that anybody's ever going to pass away. Well, hopefully, nobody ever passes away right before the All-Star game like that. Again,
or just at that being that young.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's not a bad.
It's a good idea.
I would like to see that actually.
It might as well. Like it's just an All-Star game.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You got the Bill Russell MVP award.
Yeah.
So
that brings it to the end of the show. Just about, man. I just got one last thing for you, boy.
PB, Petty Betty of the
Petty
week.
Betty, and this week we feeling dangerous.
Ooh.
Feeling dangerous.
Dun, dun, dun.
Jonas Valanciunas, my friend. You are this week's Petty Betty because you tried to just you try to put him in a wheelchair this week, man. Let me pull up the name again because the boy's name is kind of hard to say. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let me pull it up. Where it go? Oh come on now! I just sent it to Derry the other day. What? No, she sent it to me on Twitter. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Well, whatever. I don't even care. The guy's name, he plays for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
His last name is Metu, I believe. I just had it bookmarked earlier. It's kind of pissed me off. I can't find it. But anyway, so Metu dunks. And, occasionally just the pathway of you going for your dunk. It's Metu. Oh, you just texting it to me? Oh, where'd it go? Occasionally when dunking. Aha. Yeah, okay, it is Metu. So occasionally when dunking, the momentum of your body kind of swings you towards a player to end up kind of on his back or his shoulders.
Nah, he just wanted to put his nuts on his shoulder.
In this case, Metu, clearly it wasn't a natural motion of it. You went out of your way. Like, he landed on the side of him.
Yeah.
But then decided, let me just get around
He
your
did it on
neck.
purpose. I seen him.
You know what I'm
before.
saying? He clearly did
He
that
would
on
do that.
purpose. It wasn't like a natural motion and you were just under me. So I'm like,
I think so.
dropping
I
on
seen
you to
somebody where
brace
they
myself.
sat on him like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's disrespectful. He's
you
trying to be
clearly,
disrespectful.
there's a little, it's a two-sided petty Betty. This was a petty, they met in the middle on this one.
Yeah.
Because you went out of your way to try to put your nuts on my back for no good reason when you could have just landed after your dunk.
Valanciunas
So
got
Valanciunas said,
last
oh,
word,
okay,
though.
here's the game you want to play. And he tucks his leg and turns to, like, throw him off of his shoulder. And it was kind of a dangerous play, quite honestly. Because, Metu, one of his hands was still up on the rim as you're, like, twisting his body. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, like, that could be...
They said he broke his wrist.
Yeah, that could be, like, right there. You could have easily messed up a rotator cuff or a labrum.
Well,
like,
he did.
You know
He
what I'm
hung
saying?
on to the rim.
He was hanging
He
and then
hung on the
spinning.
rim and spin all the way around with his. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
like
definitely broke
that
his
was
wrist.
definitely a dangerous play.
He definitely
And
broke his
then-
wrist. Now that I'm seeing that, he probably broke his wrist.
Even after that, he kind of like flung him off of him after you've already spun around to like twist his arm. He like flung him and had his ankle cradled under your armpit.
Oh, that hurt.
That was a dangerous play. To me,
It's petty.
I'm a little surprised that there wasn't a fine or a flagrant
Oh,
involved
they
with
gonna
that.
find that. When was this?
This was the other day.
Oh, that was Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't, to me, make a big deal out of this, and I feel like you kind of should have, because while I understand his reaction, you know, there's a fine line. That really could have went a lot worse than it did.
No, it went pretty
I mean,
bad. He broke his wrist. What are you talking about?
Fair enough, he did break his wrist, but that really could have been really bad. So for y'all
Well,
to
to
just
throw
be
somebody
like,
on the ground like that, yeah.
for y'all to just be like, we get it. He put his nuts on your head. No, that's a little dangerous. So, Jonas Valanciunas, my brother, you are the petty Betty of the
Stay
week.
dangerous.
Stay dangerous, like YG said. But you got to be careful, my boy, because they will throw them fines your way. Speaking of shouting.
I'm gonna be speaking, and I'm going to be boosting myself a little bit because earlier in the season, one of my preseason predictions was that the MVP, and I said this last week.
Okay.
MVP of the league was gonna be
Had a hell
Damian
of a game.
Lillard.
He had a hell of a game yesterday. I can't even.
Gonna be Damian Lillard, and all of a sudden this week,
They talking
I
about
said
it.
this just last week. Yeah, I'm saying Dame Lillard gonna be the MVP. Now all of a sudden this week he had a couple good games in a row. You see Steven A going crazy. I'm tired of disrespecting. I apologize. He did all this. I said this months ago.
You been saying it.
MVP. Yeah, actually I said this at the end of last season.
You been saying it.
MVP of the league this season is going to be Damian Lillard. I called this months ago at the end of last season.
What did he drop last night, man?
He dropped 43. And what is that? 16
16
assists. My goodness. Scoring 43, get 16 assists. And there's no CJ McCollum on the team. He's hurt. Nurkic is hurt. So shout out to Damian Lillard. He hooping.
It's nasty.
I think he's gonna be MVP. Especially they're the 4 seed. They on a 4-game or 3-game win streak or something like that. And I said if they make it to the top, I also said they're gonna make it to top 3 seeds this season. They're kind of far from that 3rd seed though, but they keep playing like the way they're playing. They're gonna make it to the top 3 seed. I said 1 seed a while ago, but then I kind of eased up. Top 3 seed for Portland. I called this last year. I think they're a good team if they start playing some defense. They kind of like the Nets.
That's fair.
So yeah, shout out to me for calling that when nobody else is talking about it. I've been talking about Dame for a
I'm
while.
sorry, you said they'll be the top what seed?
Top 3.
Oh, okay.
I actually like this. I actually like this.
Top 3 seed.
Wow.
When
Okay.
you say that?
Okay. So that's what you got from this. You just want to rub it in. Okay.
I want to let the
No,
folks
that's
know.
fair.
I didn't talk. I've been talking about Dame.
Mm-hmm.
He deserved the MVP potentially this year.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna speak on this week. I'm gonna speak on James Harden. And I think MVP arguments can kind of be hurt when you have all-star caliber teammates, especially like KD's numbers are very close to his MVP season. Steph's numbers this year are actually very close to his MVP season. And now that the Nets added Harden as well, I feel like it'd be hard to pick anybody on the Nets as an MVP. But what I will say, this shocked me. James Harden, he's averaging a career high almost 12 assists. He's averaging 11.8. 8.4 rebounds, a career high. 50% field goal, career high. 40% from the 3, career high. 90% from the free throw, career high. 67% true shooting percentage, also a career high. This man is averaging 24, 8, and 11, almost 12. On a 50-40-90 split, career highs across the board.
50-40-90 is Steph territory.
Seth is at 50-50-90 right now.
No, he's at 50-50-100.
Yeah, 50-50-100 actually. That's amazing. But
you're not getting as nowhere near
50-40-90 is a very hard club to hit.
Yeah.
And a lot of players
nobody's ever. Or did Kyle Korver hit it one year maybe?
No, 50-40-90 isn't like it's not an impossible feat. It just doesn't happen often enough because your average at some point is bound to dip.
Yeah.
Kyle Korver barely missed 50-50-90. He was hitting 50% from the field as well as 3-point. And he ended up dipping. But 50-40-90 is an elite club to get into because keeping those averages in the 50s, 40s, and 90s consistently over a full season is
especially
very hard
James Harden, somebody who like got
criticized
shot
chucker and for you to be averaging career highs across the board in this Brooklyn situation is phenomenal. Because you would think how much better can you really get? Especially here, somebody's taking a slight back seat with the three of y'all being three of the best scorers in this league, three mega talented players. It's hard to get better, right? Mm-hmm. James Harden said, "Oh, okay, I'll show you something."
Yeah, he got better in a lot of important categories. Like to be getting career high in rebounds, that shows he's putting in effort.
He's putting in the effort.
We gotta make sure we give James Harden his roses this season because of what he's going through.
Well, not rose. He don't need no more of them. He don't need
what he went through, what he's gone through in Houston, kind of like
stay out of Texas Roadhouse.
Kind of the stigma against him is he takes a bunch of shots. But I kind of had a feeling that he was mature enough to take his role. Yeah. I got a little skeptical with the kind of dogging it when he was in Houston. I was kind of getting on him a little bit. But at the end of the day, you got to give him his roses to be able to take the point guard role where you was used to be the shooter, to shoot as many shots as you can. Mm-hmm. To be able to make that role switch like that and make the team better. Since he's been doing it, they've been playing a lot better.
Clearly.
You gotta
once him and Kyrie, once Kyrie came forward and was like, "You the point. Right. I'm the shooting guard." Right. Cameron.
Right. Cam. Hey Cam.
Hey Cam. Just so you know, for some context, everybody, including Daria, we had a conversation in our group chat about this, and he was convinced that Kyrie is very much still the point guard. And anybody with actual basketball IQ said, "No, sir, James Harden is the point guard now."
AP said it too, though. And but he kind of reversed it a little bit.
AP is smart enough to know, okay, no, I see the point you're getting at. No, that's fair, right?
Yeah.
Cam just was a hill he was willing to die on. And now you're seeing that they've admitted to it. Josh, a little petty self, he threw it in the group chat. Interesting. And I was the only one that acknowledged it. But yeah, man, James Harden is just, he's playing phenomenal this year. It's amazing. Like I said, when you're on stacked teams, it's really hard to get that MVP nod. But like a lot of people are looking at KD.
It's also harder to be a better player.
Exactly.
Which
a lot of people are looking at KD this season.
This season.
A lot of his splits and averages are looking similar to his MVP season. But James Harden, man,
he might be the MVP of that team.
With the way he playing, you might have to look at him as an MVP as well.
We'll see what he do in the playoffs.
Most speaking of shots about MVPs. Interesting. Let's wrap it up though. Let's get up out of here, man. Any final words?
Appreciate y'all. Subscribe.
Sound like you was scared.
I'm ready to go.
Appreciate y'all. Holla at your mama.
Like the video. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Let you know when we go live. We go live every Thursday. Y'all already know. But yeah, appreciate y'all guys rocking with us. Thanks, Valden, for the comment on Twitter.
Don't forget to tell somebody you love
them. Do that too.
See y'all next week. Positivity.
Yeah. Love y'all. I love you.